Hey everybody, it's Murphy Gray Hunter, and it is Monday, November 26th, and it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm just in here having my coconut water. You guys know how much I love me some coconut water. So how was everybody's Thanksgiving? I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. You know, my Thanksgiving was great. I'm gonna make a little video just kind of talking about how my whole week has gone, or all that good stuff, you know, like I do my updates, shooting the shit kind of stuff. Anyway, so this video, before I start, you see this little face demon right here? Right here. Well, I normally don't get face demons, but you know, every once in a while one will pop up and say hey. So this one decided to pop up right on Thanksgiving Day, like, hey, you didn't add me to the Thanksgiving guest list, so here I am. Some people have leftover turkey or dressing, green bean casserole. No, I have leftover face demon. Okay, so in case y'all wondering what that is. So, alright, so about 3 weeks ago I made a video talking about my books of shadows. And you guys know I have like tons of books of shadows. And so a few of you guys have been asking me to show my books of shadows. And so that's what I was doing. I was just trying to show and update, but you guys know I have so many. So, and then I was trying to give information about books of shadows, because I do get questions about, you know, what is a book of shadows? Do I need one? What should I start off with? What should it look like? What should I include in it? So I just decided to do little videos to talk about that, because some of us already know what a book of shadows is, and you may not want to watch this video talking about what is it or whatever. But those of y'all who watch my videos about anything that I post, I love you guys so much. Thank y'all, especially those of y'all who watch my long ass videos that could be like a whole little mini series, you know. So I know, like, Murphy, just shut up and get to the video. Okay, let's start off with books of shadows. Okay, so what is a book of shadows? What's the difference between a book of shadows, a grimoire, or a book of mirrors? Okay, so number one, a book of mirrors is optional, just like a book of shadow is optional, but a book of mirrors is optional. They say it's more Wiccan and pagan, but any witch can have a book of mirrors. And basically a book of mirrors is a book or a journal that you use to record things like your thoughts, your feelings towards any type of concern that you have for your magic, or a spell that you've done, or a recipe that you've created. Anything that you have thoughts and concerns about, or maybe you want to write, maybe you are into poetry and you want to write that in there. It's basically a journal on your thoughts in your witchcraft, and the stuff that you perform. Some people actually record their spells in their books of mirrors, so that's really good, because you want to record the spells that you do in something. So if you are doing a protection spell and you're not sure when's the last time you did one, or a money spell, you can go back to where you've recorded this and you can see, well, I did this spell on this day, and this is how I felt doing it, and this is what the results were. So in a book of mirrors, you could put those type of things in there if you want. You could also do that in your regular book of shadows. But basically a book of mirrors is, and now again, all these are just my opinion. Every witch has their own definition of what their books mean to them. And again, like I said, there is no rules to follow. There is no right way and there's no wrong way. You are the master of your creation. You are the master of your own magic and your own books, so you can make it to be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be like this particular person's. So a book of mirrors is just basically a journal that you record your thoughts and feelings, and anything that you have concerns or feelings or whatever about anything in your path, okay? So like I said, it's optional. You don't have to have one. A grimoire is the same as a book of shadows. Now, you can call it a book of shadows or you can call it your grimoire. It's up to the witch on whatever you want to call your book. Book of spells, you know, your little black book, your witch book, your casting book. It's whatever you want to call it. Like I said, it's just the term Book of Shadows is so well known that, you know, it's just so well known that that's just what everybody calls it. But so when you hear a witch talking about my grimoire, that's what he or she is referring to, is her book of shadows. So like I said, everyone has a different name for it. And in saying that, not every witch names their books of shadows. I name my book of shadows, my big book, her name is Beauty. Now, I have, what, 27 books of shadows? No shit, I have 27 books of shadows. And throughout this whole little mini-series, you will see my books. But, when I didn't name any of my other books, but when I had her created and I saw her, I just said her name, and like I said, I gave it a gender. I just said her name is Beauty. And that's what she's always been to me. Because I think it's the most beautiful, object that I own as a witch. As far as my witchy things, I'm a book lover, so to me, you know, people who are book lovers, we always have that one book, and for me, it's that. You know how they say if your house is burning down and your family, you know, your children, your fur babies, everyone is out of the house and you can only save one material object, what would it be? And for me, it would be Beauty. I would try to carry as much as other shit as I could. I'd be like balancing everything like Rachel Ray, if she carries everything. That would be me, carrying everything. Put it in the bra, put it in the bra, put it in the underwear, wherever I could. But you know, if I could only take one thing, it would be Beauty. So, but anyway, you don't have to have a name for your book. That's just, like I said, none of my other books, all my other books are nameless, but she's not. So that's just something, like I said, that's just something that came to me. And that didn't happen until about 6 years ago when I got her. I think it was 6 years when I got her. I think it was 6 years when I got her. Yeah, 6 years. Well, she's 6 years old. I wish I remember the actual date that I got her so I could, like, you know, write that in my book, but I don't remember. I might try to investigate that. That would be something nice to put in my book. Okay, so grimoire and book of shadows is the same thing. It doesn't mean that a grimoire is something dark. Now, if you look it up in the dictionary, or you know, you ask someone, someone may say a book of a grimoire is a dark book. It is a book of dark spells and belongs to a dark witch. That's not true. Again, these are all opinions. These are not scientifically proven. These are opinions. So if you want to call your book a book of rainbows, you can. Again, it really is on what you choose. I do have some people tell me, well, I have a grimoire because I'm a darker witch. Well, do you call it that because that's what you want to call your book, or do you call it because you feel that's what it should be? Because they may have another one that is their book of light. So they have like their light magic and their dark magic. If you're that type of witch who, if you're that type of witch who puts your magic in a category of colors, like white magic, black magic. You know, for me, you guys know magic is magic. It's the intention, what's in the heart of the witch that makes the magic, you know, whatever it is. But if that's what you want to do, I have this one for my dark magic, this one for, you know, in the very beginning, I used to be like that, where I wanted one for just my lighter work and one for my darker. But then I'm like, why am I doing all this? Like, it's just, magic is magic. It's whatever. You can take something, you can take a spell that is so good and kind of tweak it up a little bit and make it a little darker. So it really is what the witch intends for that spell to be. So anyway, so now that we have that, I have several books that I call like my book of poisons, my book of flowers, my book of, you know, this, my book of that. But my main book, yes, I refer to my main witch's book, my book of shadows. I like the term grimoire. It sounds a little more like darker and mysterious, but when it comes down to it, it's just my book of shadows. So what do you put in your books of shadows, or your book? I keep saying books because, you know, I have multiple. But what goes into your book of... Oh, in fact, before we start talking about that, let me show y'all. A book of shadows can be... It can be as simple as this, as a little spiral, because, you know, in the very beginning, when you first start witchcraft, you're not really going to know what to put in it, how to start it. And even if you do purchase something expensive and you want to make sure that you're putting in what you want. And so it's always good to have like a little rough draft. But if this is all you can have, that's all you need. Just something to record your spells. You can have something like this. You know, this is another little spiral that I bought. This is one of my daughter's, my daughter Moon, one of her artwork. She makes it into stickers. So I always have her stickers everywhere. So it could be something like this. I bought this one at the store, and this one I bought for other reasons, because this is like a topic, date, and to do. This is what I'm using to record all of my YouTube stuff. But anyway, you could be something like this, something small you can keep in your purse or in your bag, or, you know, wherever. You can buy something like this, something a little more fancier. This came with all this different color rainbow and some stickers in the back. This is all like fluorescent pages. It's just like a journal, and it has cute little stickers in the back. I got this from my local grocery store. I think I paid like, I don't know, I think $7 for it. So you can have something like this to start off with. Okay, and it's hardcover. And if you get something like this, what's really fun about something like this is that you could decorate it. You know, you could decorate. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, this. Okay, so you could decorate your book. This is the front of it. I'm like, what's happening here? So this came with a little elastic thing, and then you can decorate your book. You can put stickers. You can, if you're crafty, you can do all kinds of things. You know, you can even go buy little crystals and decorate the front of it. Or if you're one of those people who love to collect buttons, you can go to like thrift stores, Goodwill stores, and buy, like if you find a shirt or something that has really cute buttons, you can just buy that and then take it off and put that on there. Sometimes I'll go to like thrift stores or to antique stores or Goodwill, and I'll find little little things. Like, for example, let's just use this for an example. I bought this at Spirit during Halloween time, and it's got a little clip. Well, I was going to use it for one, I was going to use it like a bookmark, but it's kind of like not working for me. So what I'll end up doing is I'll cut this little spring off, right? Just get some little wire cutters, cut that off, and then it'll be flat. So then you can take something like this, and you can get some glue, and you can glue it to the front of your book. And it becomes super cute. And you can decorate your own stuff. So I bet if you look around your house, you can find all kinds of cute little things. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like for me, my books of shadows never leaves the house. So you can buy all kinds of cute little stickers. You know, like I got these from the dollar store. You can put all kinds of cute things, you know. So you can do this to any type of little spiral books, but when they're hardbound like this, it's really nice because you can put, like for me, for this one, I decided I'm going to use this one for one of my books of shadows, and I'm going to, I bought a bag of little crystals, because when I did something in my book of shadows, I used little crystals to decorate. So I'm going to use it, and I'm going to just glue crystals all the way down, like the chakra crystals in the order all the way down, and that's how I'm going to decorate this book. So again, You get something like that. You can get something like this. I bought these at Walmart. I've shown y'all these before. They have the little ridges on the side. This was $10. It comes in black, and it comes in like a beige copper color. Not beige, that's two different colors. Like a copper color. And this was $10. And so what I did with this is I took the inside and I decorated it with what do you call this? Scrapbook paper and washi tape. Y'all see that? That's just scrapbook paper and washi tape. And I decorated the back side too. There was nothing wrong with what it looked like. It was just black and white, but I wanted to kind of personalize it a little bit. And so you can do the same thing with this. You can add, this was kind of like squishy, so you can do the same thing. You can add stuff to this as well. But for me, I like these types of books because they have lines in it. And, you know, these are nice because you can decorate these too. Now, in the past, I've given one like this to my daughter, and I took this book and I did the, now washi tape are like these, in case you don't know what washi tape is, like this. I was like, where are my washi tapes? Let me show you in case y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Washi tapes is like this. You see them at the dollar store, craft stores. Okay, so I took washi tape and I went through every single page, and I just took the page like this and I just added a piece of washi tape from here to here, and then I just folded it over so you have some on this side and on that side. And I did that to every single page, but I did all different colored washi tapes. So all of this was all different colors. The only thing about that is that it made the book go up like this, and the pages were, it looked funny because it was like this and the pages were still flat. But then as you start writing and adding things to it, it bulked up more. But then your book is kind of bulked up because it's already bound. So if I did it to another book, but I didn't do it to every single page. I just did it to every other. So, yeah, but you can decorate these books. If you don't want to do washi tape like that, you could do it in the inside. You could do drawings. You could add stickers. Same thing. $10 at Walmart. They used to have it in red and purple, but I didn't see any this last time that I went to Walmart. But they still have this one and the beige for $10. And when I was there, I picked up this one. This is just like that one. This is another journal, and this was $7.99, I believe. These were $10. Okay, so they're the same size, just one's much thicker than the other. And I got this one again just to, I'm not really sure what I'm going to use this for, but let me show you. This is what the big page looks like in the inside. It's like this, black and white. Not bad at all. But I just wanted to personalize it. And it's the same as the other one. It's a lined book. So you could buy something like this if you just wanted to use this, like, you know, to put, to record, like a book of mirrors to record your stuff. Or if you have something that, for me, I section all of my books of shadows. So if I have something that doesn't require a whole big book, then I can get something small like this, because this will be just enough for that. Okay. Alright, or you can, let me show you some other ones. You can get something like this. This is just a binder that I bought at the dollar store, where I can't remember where I got this. And this is the one that has the little pocket, the clear pocket in the front. And so all I did is just took a piece of scrapbook paper, and then I glued this, or taped this piece on top of this one, and then cut. Somebody was calling me. Okay, and then just stuck that and did that to decorate it. And then I just slipped it in there. This book here is my book of crystals, and then I just have it all dividers in here in alphabetical order. Okay, and just with regular notebook paper. So you could be something as simple as a binder like this. And you can section it all off, like I said, in dividers. So if you have something like this, you can do, you know, candles. You can have C for candles, H for herbs. I looked at J and I said for juice. But I don't know my mind. You're gonna have O for, you know, oils. You know, you can section it any way you want. I like a binder because you can put things in, you can take things out, versus something that's already bound. Okay. Then you can have something like this. This one I bought from Charming Bear. You guys have seen me post, go away notification, sorry. I posted a video on Charming Bear. I have a lot of my Books of Shadows come from Charming Bear. This is a 9x7 and 40 bucks. This is that type of I don't know what you call it, like material paper. That's what it feels like material, but it's paper. I'm sure there's a real term for this paper, but all of them have this red felt in here, except for the blue one. The blue one, the turquoise one, has a blue in here, and he puts little bookmarks in them. Just one, just like this. Okay. And some of them have the stitching on the outside, some of them don't. They come in all different colors, different designs. So if you're interested in something like this, he has the small ones for $40, again. And the big ones that are 10 by 18, I think, or 10 by, they're 10 by something, they're bigger. Those are 80. And oh, I hate not being able to tell y'all the size. Let me tell y'all. I have it written down right here. Hold on. Okay, 10 by 13. Sorry, it's gonna bother me until I can tell y'all. So the 10 by 13 are $80 and the 9 by 7 are $40. Again, Charming Bear. He does not have a website, but that's his Facebook, The Charming Bear. And look through all his photos and you'll find something you like. These books are very soft and, you know, they're flexible. They're very easy to write in. I love writing these books. I actually just use a ballpoint pen and they look fabulous in here. I do suggest when you buy one of these books to take one of the back pages and go ahead and test different types of pens. Because you want to see which ones are going to bleed through, and sometimes you'll end up using pens and then they'll bleed on the paper, because this is a kind of like fabric paper. So you definitely want to, you know, use one of your pages in the back just to test it. And this, you could just use this as your testing page. And then later on, if you get to the very end of the book and you need one more page, just simply glue something on top of it, you know, or you don't want anybody to show, you don't want it to show what you've been doing, just glue a picture on top and nobody will know, like it doesn't exist, or cut it out. But definitely test your pens before. So like I said, you can buy something like this and then you can use this. The only thing about these types of books, they're already bound, so you can't put anything in and you can't take anything out. There are so many people out there that make such great books, you know, journals that you can use for your Books of Shadows. Look on Etsy, look on your Facebook, look at your local witches, look on YouTube. If you're one of those people who like to create your own books, then there are so many videos to show you how to make a book. I think it's so much more like gratifying when you make your own book, you know. But anyway, I wish I could make my own book. But I love purchasing books from other people because they do a great job. And mine will be like, look, I made a book, and it just falls apart. Okay, so then you can buy books like this. This one I got from my local grocery store. This one again was $10. My local grocery store has gnomes all over it. And look, there's little gnomes on the pages. All the pages have gnomes. Isn't that cute? What is this? Oh, a note telling me what I'm gonna, because I wasn't sure what I was gonna use this book for, but I'm gonna use this to write my incense in here. So anyway, so you can buy something like this and use it. Again, this is bound, so you know whatever goes in there stays in there. Then of course you can order books like these. There's a funny story behind this book, and I'm going to make a video talking about this for those of y'all who don't know. Ooh, my stomach is growling. It's saying, ooh, I need something more than just some coconut water, heifer. Feed me something. Okay, so this book is just one of those little leather books. And again, this is also has a little soft paper. You can buy things like this. This one does not have any lines in it. So some people don't like to buy these types of books because they don't have lines and they're afraid they're going to write all crooked. If that's the case, get your ruler and a pencil, like a soft lead pencil, and go ahead and make you some lines. Right, go ahead and make lines all the way across like I've done. This is my big book. And then I write, and then after I'm done writing and my ink is completely dry, I go ahead and I erase all the marks, all the lines. And, you know, that's what I do if I'm afraid I'm going to make something crooked. Okay, then I got one more. Oh gee, oh gee, oh gee. Oh, Lord, I can get myself a hernia. Okay, this is the book that I started out with when I was barely starting. This is a Big Mama 5-inch binder, and I just put stickers on there. I mean bumper stickers. Okay, this is just, hold on, put this down. Oh, I have such a mess. Okay, this is just a binder. Now, when I first started, I did not know what I wanted to put in my bookshelf. I was lost on what to put in it, how to start it, things like that. And so I was printing out all kinds of information, like just printing it out so I could have it, because I was just like, ooh, and this was also in alphabetical order. I love me some dividers. I just really noticed that. Like I will divide everything. Like, let's give it dividers. And so I had everything in page protectors. Like, geez, I spent a lot of money on this. So I did stuff like, let me just show y'all. I would do things like this, like planetary candles. And then I would draw like these, you know, horrible little drawings. And just talk about what it is. Look at this. Let me show y'all. Come on. Ugh. It's a workout. So this is on a chalice. Look at those sad little chalices. That's how I draw. And I just wrote what it is, you know, how you use it, and, you know, just basically information. Did I ever use it? No. But I felt like it needed to be in there because when I started my Book of Shadows, I didn't know what to put in here. And there are a lot of spells in here. And like I said, some that were mine, some that I copied, some that I recreated. Days of the week that's best to create. I don't follow that. When if a sister needs to do a spell, I'm going to do it if I got time right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't say, oh, Monday is a good day for this. I have to wait till Friday to do this. Girl, please. I'm going to do it right now. Talking about the elements, I printed out a bunch of stuff. And so when I go back through here and I look at this stuff, I'm like, I was a hot mess. I was just writing stuff down just to write it. I mean, all the time, hours that I put into this. I mean, I will say that I was very dedicated, very dedicated. Let me show you how dedicated I was. Let me show you another drawing, because you guys know I don't draw, and it takes me a long time to draw anything. I can only imagine how many hours it took me to draw this little sister girl here. This is the invisibility spell. Yeah. So I look at this stuff like, oh my god, who drew this? Like, I don't even recognize this stuff because there are just things that I just didn't use. I printed out so much stuff. All the trees that I killed. Such a murderer. Yeah, so many things. Like this information on lead. I never used it. So what I did is I went, now there are a lot of great information in here, but I realized that I was printing stuff out because I just went to a website and I saw information and I just started printing things out and I just started putting it in here. But none of this stuff was mine. Like, there were some things in here that were mine, but it wasn't really customized for me. This was just a book that I was just putting information in here because I thought I needed everything. And did I ever open this book and use it to create spells? No, because I was just doing my own thing. And so what I did one day, I just went through here. If you see here the tabs, I went through here and I just put tabs on everything that I want to keep, but I want to recreate. But look at this. This is a lot of good information. So I do keep it because, like I said, there are lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff in here. But that's how I started. So now my book. Come here. Oh jeez. Oh, oh, oh Lord! I think my kidney. I think I hurt my kidney. Guys, y'all ever like turn over to the side and you get this jolt? Like, what are you doing? That's what I just felt. It's my kidney or my gallbladder or something in there. No, seriously. So this is my book now. This is Beauty. Ooh, I'm telling you. I got a pain. Okay. Alright. It's called Not Using Proper Body Mechanics, Murphy. You've learned this in nursing school. Okay. So this one, she is 6 years old. And I had her created by a couple who worked with me on, and I was able to create everything, like my symbol, the color, the lettering, everything is on here, how many pages I had in here, how they dyed them. So this is my main book, Shadows, and this is Beauty. So I've had her for 6 years, and you would think that she would be completely full, but she isn't, because I'm super careful on what I put in her because she is bound. So, you know, if you make a mistake, I'm not cutting it out. So I have to be really careful. And this one is a book that I'm going to be passing on to my children. So I want to make sure that, you know, I have things in here that are not going to be like this book. Like, I just have oodles and noodles of information, but what really is mine. This book is what really is mine. There is information in here, like basic information, but mostly everything in here belongs to me. These are personal things. These are things that I want to share with my children. So this is what I ended up with. And like I said, I only got her 6 years ago, and I've been practicing witchcraft for a very long time. So let's talk now about what goes into your book of shadows. And I know you probably want to see more about what's inside my book, and I will show y'all that in another video where I show y'all each of my books of shadows. Okay, so let's talk about what goes into your books of shadows. Oh, I need a little drink. I'm a little parched. Hold on. Love it. Okay, what goes in a book of spells or book of shadows, your grimoire? Now, again, this is completely up to you. You don't have to recreate a book of shadows according to what everybody else has. I do see a lot of people who are, you know, they'll say, well, they have the Wiccan read. Let me put that in mind. Well, are you Wiccan? You know, or they have the 13 laws of a witch. Are any of those laws that you follow? So you have to look at it like that. Like, what am I going to put into my book of shadows? Like, what do I feel represents me? So in your book of shadows, you definitely want to put recipes on, you know, potions, oils, incense. If you make incense, your own incense, put those recipes in there. If you create your own oils, put those in there. If you create your own, you know, whatever it is that you create, your different types of cleansing sprays or cleansing powders or protection, whatever it is that you create, put those recipes in there. You can also put your story in there, like how you came to witchcraft. Because think about this, if you have children or you have someone that your book wants to go to, you want to have in there how this started for you, what being a witch means to you, why you took this path, how did you lead, you know, what led you to this. And when you talk about your story, talk about your path. Just because you may be you know, a certain race or a certain culture doesn't mean that this is the type of magic you have to get into. So let's just say that you are, say, Cuban or Puerto Rican, and you don't want to go into whatever magic your culture goes into. You would like to do this culture, you know, this particular magical path. Then explain why would you, you know, why would you choose this versus what your culture practices. You know what I mean? I'm trying to say this without being offensive to anyone. Because you know how I feel. If it's something that you want to do, then do it. But put in the time and research, you know, into doing it, because you don't want to offend anyone or anyone's culture. So, but in doing this, when you write your story, yeah, do talk about your culture, what your culture is, and what your culture practices. Like for me, that I have so many different cultures in me. You know, with my mother being Japanese and Aztec, you know, and Cuban. Do I practice any of those? My father being German and Apache Indian. Do I practice any of those? Like, what is it, you know, that's in my culture that draws me to it? I love my Native American path, so that's one that I value so much. But that doesn't mean that I'm limited to just that. So again, in my book, I do talk about my path, what blood I have, and like what my culture is, what my nationality is, and when out of my nationality, the important things to me, like my Native American heritage. That is so important to me. So a lot of my craft is geared towards Native American, but not limited to. So I do explain that in my book and why I picked that path and why it's important to me. So that's something you can add into your book, because again, if this is a book that you are going to pass on to your children or your grandchildren, what is it you want to, what are you leaving behind? Or somebody should find your book after you pass away and they're like, oh, I never knew grandma or great-grandma or great-grandpa was, you know, into witchcraft. They won't sit there and look at it and be like, oh my God, they were devil lovers. They'll be able to read a beautiful story on what drew you to witchcraft. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to. I'm just saying that's an idea. You can also include your family line. That's something I'm working on in this book, doing a family, like a family chart. And so I think that's so important. But we have so many family, and you would think that some of us would act right so we could be together as a family. Ugh, guys, y'all know my family drama. So yeah, I would definitely include a family line in your book, because in my book, although my children already know, but in my book, they already know where our family, what our lineage is as far as witchcraft. It doesn't mean that if you sit there and say, well, I don't have any family line that are witches. Well, that's not really what I mean. It could mean like what your family's from. Like if someone's looking at me like, oh, I just thought you were Hispanic, and I don't have any Hispanic in me, but that's okay, you know, because that's what someone may think. Or someone may look at me and say, oh, you don't look like you have any Japanese in you. But if you look at my mother, you know, she does. Or you look at my grandfather, he looks all Cuban, you know. Or, you know, my great aunt, she's Aztec. You can definitely see it, you know. So it's just like, you know, what I'm saying is your family heritage being that where you come from and where if your granddaughter is like, oh, well, grandma or grandpa got this from so and so. It's just a nice, I love history. I'm a big history person, but especially my own personal family history means so much to me. So it's nice to leave something behind, because I've struggled to put my family history together because I guess it just wasn't important to anyone. And now that my father's, you know, dead, my mother, you know, has passed away, both sets of grandparents are gone, you know, for me, that information is going away. So I'm trying to get as much as I can from the relatives that are still alive, so I can add to it and pass it down to my children. So definitely it's something you can add in your book. And also home remedies. Like if there are home remedies that you practice, definitely add that into your book. I have my own home remedy book, and I'll show you all that when I'm showing my books. But home remedies are great to have if you're not a person who likes to take medication. I'm forever posting stuff, you know, on Facebook, whether it's my vegan page or whether it's in just my personal page or in the Coven, talking about the benefits of food, the benefits of spices, and things that you can eat to help better yourself. Like I just posted a bunch of stuff on coconut water, why it's so important to drink coconut water, and just drinking water in general. People are always talking about, other than this face demon, people are always talking, giving me compliments on my skin. And thank goodness, number one, my grandmother had beautiful, beautiful skin on my mother's side. She had beautiful skin. My mother had beautiful skin. But, so I do thank them so much. You know, thanks Grandma for your beautiful skin and your fat arms, because now I have them too. But I loved them when I was little. They were so plushy. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I will rock it. But I talk about that because I drink so much water, and I always drink coconut water. Even if I don't, I drink coconut water just about every day. But again, you don't have to drink this great big one. You can just have a small one. You could get 2 days worth in this, but I drink the whole thing. I'll drink about 3 of these big ones at least 3 or 4 times a week. But I drink big things like this of carrot juice, I drink a green juice 3 or 4 days a week also. So it's just, I always talk about home remedies and the importance of food. You know, I always tell you guys, food can heal you and it can kill you. And so definitely home remedies in your Book of Shadows is great, because, you know, talking about how to make different types of magical teas that can help you, not just in spells, but can help you, you know, spiritual wise and physically. You know, you want to be a healthy witch, a happy witch, mentally, physically, you know, and spiritually. So definitely write your home remedies in your books, because that's something great you can go back with. If you like tinctures, you know, there are so many great tinctures out there that you can take. Right now we're going into the winter, so you can write a tincture for colds and flus, how to boost your immune system so that way you don't catch, you know, cooties from other people. Find a great recipe and write that down in your book. Also, you can write information on tools and ingredients. Now, I wouldn't waste time, a lot of your book space, on writing about chalices and athames and wands, unless you use it in your practice. For me, I don't use it in my practice. What I did do is I purchased some pages. I did purchase some pages. I'm not really sure where it is in here. I'll have to find it. But you know those pages that you can purchase and they have the information? Well, I purchased some of those that talk about, like on one page it has 3 things, like the chalice, a wand, a bell, just so you have basic information on what these things are, and how you use them, you know, on your altar. Do I use any of those? No. But again, this book also has basic information because it is part of witchcraft, so it is important. You don't have to write that in your book if you don't use it. But again, for me, I wanted to make sure, since I'm an eclectic witch, I like to read and research everything. And I look at it as in, if my baby daughter Jade was going to be getting this book, and she, let's just say something horrible would happen to me next year. Let's just say, Lord, please don't let nothing happen to me. But let's just say it did. And she's like, I don't know what a wand is. I don't know what a chalice is. But if she looks at my book, she'll have that information. So for me, yes, I do write in this book because it, as in the information that I'm going to be sharing with my children, because this big book is something I will be passing down. But if it's something that's not a concern to you, don't put it in there. And also ingredients, you definitely want to do that. And when I show you my books of shadows, I'll show you why I have so many. There are so many. If you're eclectic, especially, I shouldn't just say just eclectic. If being eclectic for me means that I study everything. I can't practice everything, you know, because there are certain practices that are religions, and you need to be initiative into certain religions to practice these things. But it doesn't mean that I can't read about it, research it, and put some of that information in here, because that's information that should be passed down, so you know future witches can understand, you know, the difference between a magical path and a religious path, you know, and the do's and the don'ts, you know. And so, but it doesn't mean that we can't respect it and admire the beauty of it, you know. So, but also, like, you know, writing information about herbs and candles. You know, if you are a candle, if you're a witch who uses candle, you do candle magic all the time, then definitely write information on candles in here. If you use crystals, whatever it is that you really use in your practice is what you want to put in your book. And also find a spot, either in your book or in a separate little spiral. Like I said, you could do something like this. You want to have something where you can record your spells. Now, I personally wouldn't waste any of my pages in my books of shadows to record that. I would either just get a bunch of notebook paper and make like a little book and put it in the back of my book, just so I can have a track of it, because who knows how many spells you're going to do. Do you want someone to find that and be like, ooh, look at all the stuff she's doing? So create a code if you feel like someone's going to find that. You know, go back to the witch's alphabet. That's what they used it back then for. I have a copy of the witch's alphabet in here. You know, a long time ago, the witches would use this particular alphabet using symbols and different markings, so that way if someone found a note or something they had wrote on, they would not be able to read or understand what was on that paper, so they would use the alphabet. And I'm sure there are other purposes of it, but you can create something like that, a code in some way, like I said, or use any. There's so many different magical alphabets out there to record if you feel like someone is going to find it. But definitely you want to write down the things that you're doing, as you know, so that way you can say, well, I did this spell, this money spell, and this is what I did, this is the day I did it, and this is what the results were. So this way you know yourself whether or not this spell works, because if it doesn't work, then you're like, okay, well, maybe I needed to add a little more, or maybe this time I won't do a candle spell. Maybe I'll try doing this. So you definitely want to, you know, record things. But basically, guys, in a book of shadows, it can be whatever it is that you want to be. You do not have to follow a particular category that everyone else does. There are so many videos on books of shadows on YouTube. Oh my God, there are so many beautiful, beautiful books out there that people have put in so much time, and they dedicated so much energy into these books to make it special for them. So I would definitely look at those videos and get inspired to create something beautiful that works for you. Remember, the very first rule of making a book of shadows is that this book of shadows represents you. So if you look at my book of shadows and she's like, okay, page 1, this is this. Page 2 is what she put. Page 3 is what she put. Don't make a book of shadows to be a replica of mine, because what works for me may not work for you. So you definitely want to create a book of shadows that is going to represent you and your magic. What's important to you and what you want this book to represent. Like, you can pick up this book and look and be like, oh, I can see what Murphy's personality is like, and I can see what type of witch she was by looking at my books of shadows. You can see where my mind is and what I was feeling when I created this, or, you know, you can see, you know, oh shit, Murphy's a little crazy, you know, or, oh, Murphy really likes butterflies, whatever it is, you know. But you definitely want to make this book to represent you and your personality, your do's and your don'ts, your likes and your dislikes, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And feel free to decorate it any way you want. Do not be intimidated by some of these people who create these books of shadows that are like freaking art pieces. Oh my gosh, guys. People always ask me, if you can have one skill, what would it be? And it would be to be able to create art. Like, yeah, I create art by doing photography, but an artist, I wouldn't like to like see something and be like, oh, you want me to draw that? Sure, no problem. Boom, done. No, not sit there and draw something and be like, you drew grapes again, because that's all I know how to draw. You know what I mean? So, I would love to be an artist. So there are some people that are artists. Oh my God, the books that they create are gorgeous. And I'm just like, okay, well, I can't do that, but let's see what I can do. So if you have to cut out pictures and glue, or you have to, you know, use coloring pages, or, you know, put in leaves, or do whatever it is that you have to do, do it. Let me show y'all something that I did on one of my books. Is this one it? This is not it. Hold on, guys. That one's not it. Oh, here we go with this side bin. You know, the side bin's gonna get you. Why does it have to be on the very bottom too? Oh. Okay. Okay, so this is my book of shadows for hexes and curses. Okay, so let me show y'all page. So for example, here, this is a destroyer recipe. So here I have the actual recipe, and then here I just glued a picture. You know, in this book I have lots of glued photos. So you can decorate your books like this with just glued photos. You can use stickers. You can use all kinds of things. So when I show y'all my other video, when I show y'all my books of shadows, you'll see the other designs that I've made. So definitely you are the master of your own book. You know, you are the creator. Just think of it that way. You know, you are the creator of your own book, and feel free to add whatever you want to add into your book. Feel free to decorate your book any way you want. If you use stencils, use crayons, you know, whatever it is. Do not let anyone tell you that your book of shadows is not an authentic book of shadows because you are drawing, you're adding coloring pages, or you are gluing in stickers, or don't let anyone tell you that, because you know what? It's your book. It's your book. You can do whatever you want. That's your book, and this is my book. Don't be a follower. Be a leader, and definitely make your own book. Like, just don't sit there and put the Wiccan Rede in your book of shadows if you're not even Wiccan. You're like, well, because I feel like I need it in there. But for what? Don't waste a page on something that means absolutely nothing to you. So, and again, you know, some people will say, well, I don't show my book of shadows. You should never show your book of shadows. Again, these are all just opinions. There are no scientific proof that you're going to explode if you show your book of shadows, or you know, your power is going to be stolen if you show your book of shadows. Again, everyone has their own right for their own opinion. Some witches do not like to show their books of shadows, and I completely respect that. It is your own book of shadows, and if you don't want anybody looking in your book, then don't, because it is yours. So I totally get it. I totally get it, and I respect it. But just because, you know, Jane over there doesn't show her book doesn't mean that you can't show yours. But they're right, you know, they're right in the sense that there are a lot of cruel people out there that will try to make fun of your book. Like, oh, your book is so ratchet looking, you know, because there are so many cruel people out there. And I mean, there are a lot of nice people out there too, but I'm just saying, you know, there are, especially when you are on YouTube and you're putting it out there for everybody to see, someone is going to feel they have the right to say whatever they want. And they do, because you can say whatever you want. But my thing is, like, don't let someone ruin your creation for you. So, but don't be scared also to show your stuff. To be on social media, you gotta have some freaking thick ass skin and a really smart ass mouth. No, you really calm. I try to be calm sometimes, but like, oh Lord, she gonna make me go get, I'm just gonna have to get really raunchy here. No, because there are some people that just try to just so all I can say is just that if you're going to show your stuff on social media, just be prepared, because people, no matter what you get on social media to do, whether it is to say something, show something, people are always going to have, you know, they're going to feel they can say something to you, especially on YouTube, because they can hide behind any freaking name. They can hide behind anything. On social media, it's a little bit different because, you know, you can see them personally. But on YouTube, man, people got these big cajon. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. People just feel like they can just say whatever they want and not care about your feelings. So all I'm saying is, you be the creator of your own book. Do what you want to do. Do what pleases you. Do what makes you happy. And if you want to share your book, amazing. If you don't want to share your book, I totally understand and respect that 100%. But again, don't let anybody tell you that this is the way you do your book. There are no rules, okay? There are no rules on how you create your book, what you write it in, what you write in there, and how you decorate it. Alright guys, so thank you so much. It still was a long ass video, but I'm going to come back and show y'all my different books. Alright guys, as always, love y'all and blessed be. Bye!